Hello everybody and welcome back to another daily update video. My name is CryptoStash and I hope you're having an amazing weekend. Currently it is Saturday, so the stock markets and the CME markets are actually closed, so we'll be only taking a look at Bitcoin and some other altcoins now after this V-shaped recovery that Bitcoin made yesterday. And exactly as I predicted in my previous video, we did bounce from the low range right here of that box that I made. So Bitcoin is still pushing to the upside, trying to reclaim that weekly pivot at 106k basically. So once we get above this weekly pivot, then I'm expecting another push to the upside basically for Bitcoin above that value area high and potentially above our weekly pivot resistance. So basically back into the 110 zone for Bitcoin. But firstly, as I said, we need to reclaim that weekly pivot right here. Also, if you go on a hard time frame, as you can see after this drop right here, our momentum wave and also our RSI, they got perfectly cooled off, and also Bitcoin perfectly made on the hard time frame a bullish divergence. As you can see, momentum getting lower while our momentum and our RSI getting higher. So basically we made a perfect bullish divergence, and perfectly bounced, and right now this V-shaped recovery is probably going to continue higher. In my opinion, it is looking very good. We did not lose that key level, that box right here, and as long as our RSI and the price keeps going up and goes back above that weekly pivot, we still have a lot of momentum to our RSI, as you can see, to that 80 line basically, until it gets rejected from the 80 line or it gets oversold above the 80 line. And also our momentum, it's perfectly creating that bullish divergence, and it still has some kind of a push to the upside left in it, in the momentum also. So everything looking very, very nice. The momentum and the RSI, also the price and Bitcoin is still keeping strong. The stocks also closed pretty good. The S&P closed above 6,000 basically. So we are very, very near the all-time highs for the stock market, as you can see right here. Basically, if we make a line right here from the all-time highs, let me do it like this, you can see until the all-time highs for the stock market, we do have only about almost 2.5% left to touch the all-time highs. And as of right now, the momentum waves and the RSI on the stocks is also looking significantly good, and still has more room to the upside to take out these all-time highs. And once the stock market reaches that all-time high, then I'm almost positive that Bitcoin will also follow, since Bitcoin also looking pretty nice. As you can see, our daily momentum got perfectly touched that 20 line right here for the RSI, and right now also our momentum is currently also clipping to the upside. So it is possible that in the next week we do see some continuation. Also for next week, we do have some very important news on Wednesday. We do have CPI data once again, and then also on Thursday and Friday we do have PPI data, also unemployment claims, and on Friday we got that consumer sentiment. So next week will be very, very volatile. And also on Monday the chair SEC speaks basically, so we do have some volatility also on Monday. And if we look at the liquidation heat map for Bitcoin, then we can see we do have more liquidity. We are closer to the liquidity that's sitting on the upside basically, and the price is right now, as you can see, pushing up and trying to take out this liquidity to the upside. And in my opinion, once we take out this liquidity, then we can probably make some kind of a correction and take out this liquidity to the downside also. And as you can see, we do have some concerning signs on that open interest. As you can see, our open interest is rising while our delta is going down. So basically this means there are currently shorts opening up into the market, or shorts are closing out basically, and new longs are entering. As you can see, we currently had that spike to the upside, basically that liquidation wick to the upside. This basically means we got a lot of short positions liquidated with that move, and they have been closed out right here, as you can see. This is why our delta is currently rising and the open interest has fallen a little bit. So I'm still expecting some kind of a move to grab that other liquidity to the downside. And if we look at the Fear and Greed index, we are currently back into that neutral zone, 52 right now. So maybe if we get another potential dump, then maybe we can go back into that fear zone. And then maybe we can see some real run to the upside, as I mentioned, if we do have potentially some kind of another rejection from that weekly pivot, and then we dip down below to test that box once again and everybody gets scared, then this will be the fear zone basically for Bitcoin. And also currently we do have actually for this day more long positions opened in the markets, in the major exchanges than shorts. So as I said, firstly, I'm still expecting that move to continue to the upside basically until we test that weekly pivot right here, and then we get potentially another move if we break above it, test it as support, and then we get that push to the weekly pivot resistance, which also perfectly consolidates with our value area high where the price previously got rejected. So very key zones, guys. And also if we enable the monthly pivots, as you can see, Bitcoin currently reclaimed that June pivot basically above 103k. We are still bullish, and our next target for that monthly pivot in June would be that first week monthly pivot resistance at around 110k. So basically almost a 5% move to the upside. And as I mentioned, with that bullish divergence right here, it is very possible that we test this level. Also, if we look at Ethereum right now, Ethereum actually kind of front ran its monthly pivot. As you can see, the previous bounce from that monthly pivot was this week right here at around $2,350 basically. But basically the same story goes for Ethereum. Ethereum perfectly created that bullish divergence right here, as you can see, basically on the momentum waves and on the price, and is also having that perfect retracement to the upside, currently back above that value area low right here. So as long as we hold that level, which is also our weekly pivot support one, then I can see also ETH going up and trying to test this weekly pivot right here of around $2,600 basically. So very bullish if the next week the CME future markets open to the upside. So as I said, after this move to the downside, the indicators are looking pretty cooled off and looking very nice for more potential upside. Also Solana, in my opinion, got oversold on the daily RSI and perfect bounce from the 20 line, as you can see. And also our daily momentum wave is currently curving to the upside, and Solana actually hit that monthly pivot support at around 144, which is also the second weekly support. So very big support right here we've had for Solana in that bounce. Since Solana, guys, basically it had more downside actually than ETH and Bitcoin, almost 25%. So as I said, I'm expecting for Solana a stronger recovery. So Solana is still pretty cheap if you look on that weekly time frame, basically still in that very big range. If we pull that from here until this breakout, you can see basically Solana perfectly also bouncing from that POC right here from that bigger range. As you can see, it perfectly passes right here, is the most volume traded. So Solana perfectly getting that bounce from that bigger range, that POC. This range is massive, guys. This is basically, if we measure how many days this range is, basically 452 days. This is more than a year, basically almost year and a half for Solana, this big range that it has been trading in. And right here it is still a perfect opportunity to buy. But once we lose that range, then as I said, it's very possible that we go back to this zone, basically 123 for Solana, or even below 100, but I do not think this will happen soon, or if it will even happen in the near future. As long as Bitcoin stays above 100k, then as I said, I'm expecting for Solana to still stay in that range. Basically very, very big support for Solana, that POC, that monthly pivot support, and that weekly second pivot support. Basically very, very big support for Solana right here. So this was a perfect long opportunity, guys, as you can see. Also for Sui, if we look at Sui got that perfect bounce, also tested the monthly pivot support, but actually bounced from that weekly pivot support at around $2.95 and is right now having a very, very big move to the upside, about 12%. Also the RSI and the daily momentum are looking pretty nice for more potential upside, same as Bitcoin. And the only thing that I wanted to share with you guys that concerns me is, once again, we are getting some Bitcoin ETF outflows for the Bitcoin once again, another 2 days in a row, while last week we were having 3 days of very, very big volumes of outflows. So this is a bit concerning for the price, but as I mentioned, it's all about key levels on the chart. The chart will tell you everything. You do not need to look at fundamentals that much. Basically, as long as we do not lose this level right here, then I'm seeing a continuation to the upside for now. So we will see what next week's brings us. I hope you liked the video and subscribe for the channel, and I will see you again in the next one tomorrow. Bye.